All right, so welcome everybody to our Hacking Legend Success Huddle tonight. Super excited to be with y'all. Let me see your teeth. Let me see those smiles. All right, look at these amazing people. So as we all know, right, we're very quickly closing on the end of the month, right? The month of November, but this is that time of the year where every time that we close into the end of the month, we're quickly reminded that, holy crap, it's also the end of the year, right? And one of the things that I know that we've talked about very frequently, if you will, is reinforcing goals and goal setting, and how, so many people have the mindset that they need to wait until January 1st to start, properly focusing on writing, tracking goals. And hopefully many of you have started to take to heart and truly apply how powerful goal setting can be as you apply it to your personal life, as you apply it to your business. So incredibly important. But that's not the topic here today. However, we know that just a couple quick tips coming into the end of the month, right? Many of us, we are taking inventory of what we've accomplished. We're taking inventory of, hopefully you're taking inventory of, what is my personal action accumulated, right? What has my team? Where is my team? Where's their growth? What is it that they're trying to accomplish? So this is the important part, right? This is a big part of leadership. This is a big part of growing a team, right? It's not just about you, but it's also taking on and serving and leading those individuals that obviously you're trying to help them with their goals as well. So it's not, that's one of the main reasons I think that goal setting is so important, because it reinforces, remember, everything that you do here, you should be doing in a C1, C2, and C3 scenario, right? So many of you, if you want to teach goal setting, if you want to be an example of goal setting, if you want to be able to help your teams grow and help your teams advance on a daily, weekly, monthly, yearly basis, that's going to require you to lead the way. So in this instance, it's important to know not only what your goals are for the month, but what are the goals of your team. And many of them, they're moving towards the next rank. They're getting closer to go pro, go MVP, go all-star, right? Whatever that next point of accomplishment is, you want to know, hey, how do I ultimately get where I want to go? How do I accomplish my goals? I help as many people on my team accomplish theirs. You help as enough people get what they want, you will ultimately get what you want. I know you've heard that over and over and over again, but no better time to reinforce that to now, right? We've got basically 2 days left, 2.5 days, 2 days. I don't know, what is it? Today's Wednesday, the 28th, right? So we've got the remainder of today, we've got Thursday, and we've got Friday, and then, boom, that's it. So super important to make sure you're digging down in your teams right now, find out who needs help getting to the next step, right? And that's important because ultimately you need to know what the goals are of the individuals in your team. Super important. But remember, I don't want to forget, this is so incredibly important. Do me a big favor, and I want you to take just a moment real quick, and I want you to pick up your phone, and I want you to text somebody and just let them know, the first person that pops in your mind, just let them know that you're thankful for them, you're grateful for that person. Just give a compliment. Do something that is serving another human being. And here's what will happen. The moment you do that, your heart will immediately go to a place of gratitude. You'll go to a place of, you'll stop in that moment thinking about yourself, thinking about your own problems, and you'll be literally taking the time to brighten somebody else's day, or show them, and who knows, they may be in a funk, they may be in a place where immediately you snap them out of that as well. So not only are you accomplishing something for yourself, but you're also accomplishing something for someone else. Why? Here's what I know. When we're in a place of gratitude, we learn better, we absorb more, it's all good stuff. All right, beautiful. So I'm going to ask y'all to participate tonight. This topic is living community-based marketing, right? Right? So living community-based marketing. And this is something that I've made a commitment to here last month and started to implement a little over 6 weeks ago. And that was really digging into my local market based on the 8 community-based marketing environments. Do me a big favor. If I could unmute you right now, and you would have to teach us the 8 community-based marketing environments. you know what they are, and you know exactly how to explain them. Raise your hand for me real quick if you could do that. Oh my God, Alexis, I'm going to slap you if you don't raise your hand. Seriously though, right? Seriously, this is so incredibly important, right? That's the DNA of Pruvit. Do y'all realize that? Do you realize what sets us apart as a company from the product standpoint? We already know it. It's our disruptive, most incredible technology on the planet, right? Would everyone agree with me? Give me 2 thumbs up if you agree. We have the most insanely amazing product. And I know it because I've been living off ketones. I literally, because of my little baby girl, I did not get a chance to participate as a community in the last reboot. So I decided to start my reboot this Sunday night. And I literally, this is the first time where I've just continued to push through. I started Sunday night and I still have not touched a bite of food. I've only been living on ketones. How do I know they're incredible? Because I haven't killed anyone yet. That's how I know they work. I didn't kill anyone yet. That's how I know they work. So, so we know what defines us or what distinguishes us, right? It's our pursuit of better. And it's ultimately through our disruptive technology, which is ketones. Now, what is it on the business side of the house, right? What is it on the team building and the development? What truly separates us? It's community-based marketing. It's community-based marketing. So if you don't know what the environments and what actually make up community-based marketing, I don't think that you're truly taking advantage of all of the benefits and opportunities that community-based marketing has to offer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cover those 8 environments, but here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to help you apply them in a very practically applicable way, right? And here's the reason why, because as you know, I will not teach something that I'm not doing. So I am literally myself committed to, and I am applying in my own local market this exact same process, this exact same structure, this exact same strategy, literally to the T. And I'm sharing it with you tonight. Okay, is that okay? Everybody good with that? But that's also going to require all of your participation, because I know a lot of you are really, really, really good, really, really effective at different elements of the 8 different community-based marketing environments. I know you are. Literally the first person to chime in on this chat tonight was Tony Cohen, who is hosting a first ever keto wine night tonight here in San Diego, or wherever the heck he is, Pacific Beach in San Diego. But so the point being is, I know there's a lot of you that are really good at these, and I want you to chime in and give some feedback to the group as a whole in terms of what are some of the things that you've done, what are some creative environments that you've tapped into that have been effective for you growing your business. So a couple of things I want to make mention to kind of set this up. And the first thing is this, is that in the world that we live in, we all know it's a very high-tech world, right? To think, I was literally trying to think back the other day of, how the hell did I talk to people back in high school, right? When I graduated high school, how the hell did I talk to people? Because I wasn't on Facebook. I wasn't on, at that point, I might have been on MySpace, but other than, trying to hook up with some dates or something, I don't know what else MySpace was really for. And the point being is this, is that it's a very high-touch world, a very high-tech world. The key is in the long-term growth of your business, 100%, and I truly 100% believe this, is that your business will rise and fall on 2 things. And really those 2 things compound on each other. What is the first one? The first one is relationships. Relationships will ultimately stand the test of time. Relationships can actually, if they're built properly, they can stand the test of time. They can stand the test of time from shiny objects coming in here, distractions coming in left and right. All of these things that we encounter, if it's too high tech and it's not enough high touch, right? I promise you, you're not going to have the longevity you're looking for. And for most of us, what are we trying to do? We want to build security. We want to build a legacy, right? We want to build something that lasts. And if you want to build something that lasts, it needs to be built on the foundation of relationships, right? Relationships is where it starts. Number 2 is leadership, especially in a business like ours. You have to have leadership. And if you don't have it to tie into, you should be tying into it until you yourself can do the same thing. It's the same way we develop, and I don't want to overuse or I don't want to intimidate you by using the word leader. Remember, sometimes being a leader it's just, hey, what door do we go through, the left one or the right one? I don't know. The right one looks like the right one. Somebody's got to make, there's two people. Somebody's got to make a decision and go through the door. That means you just let. It's not, don't make it a bigger deal than it is. It means you're taking responsibility and you're deciding to move on something that someone else can potentially follow you and do the same thing. And many of you right now, you're all leading in some area of your life. Whether it's in your home, whether it's at your job, whether it's in a social, it doesn't matter. All of you are leading in one way, shape, or form. So high tech, high touch. You want to make sure that you have a combination of both. And what's cool is, and I want you to think about this for a minute, and this is what took me to this frame of mind or this thought process was back in the day when I first started in this industry. I wasn't, there was, I don't even know if there was Facebook, but no. Facebook started in 2006, right? Anybody? Yep, I think it was 2006. Point being, and then you had to be like a college student or some other crap or whatever. I don't even think I created a Facebook account in probably 2010. 2004. Okay, excuse me, 2004. Okay. But point being is that the way you used to have to ultimately work and navigate through your network was it would start off local, right? It would start off local, and then it would be the local that would allow you to go global, right? Or national, global. You get what I'm saying, right? Bigger, higher end perspective. So you had to start local, and you had to literally build your foundation locally in order to grow and feed into and grow into having more of a global network or global opportunity or global prospecting opportunity. It's literally, in today's day and age, it's flip-flopped. Literally, we're going global first. And there's some of you, and I know who you are, many of you. How many of you have a massive business and you ain't got shit in your backyard? You're like, dude, I can't even get my freaking mailman to take damn ketones. Right? No, and I'm joking about that, but in all seriousness, you have these massive organizations and you have massive business that's building, yet you have nothing in your backyard, right? You have nothing, or you don't have something as strong and significant as it could otherwise be. Meaning that, hey y'all, you are the magic. Like, you understand that while you're growing your business globally, while social media is allowing for a platform for you to grow your business globally, why not double down and take advantage of building it locally as well? Because if you can get your global market to all focus on local market, what does that mean? That means you have the ability to grow so much faster. That means you have the ability to take advantage of so much more opportunity. And ultimately, I promise you, while many of you are looking to grow a global business, like a truly global business, like, dude, we need somebody in China. I need somebody in Australia, right? Here's what you don't realize. While you're out there searching globally, it's a local connection that has an immediate warm lead or an immediate connection to where you're trying to go. But the funny thing is it's local. You're trying to build a cold business globally, while if you would tap into and create a warm local market, they will lead you to another warm global connection. Right? Is this making sense? Did you understand what I'm saying here? I could give you a million examples of how this has happened. So with that being said, here's a couple things that we're going to go through. So I'm going to start here. Can y'all see the board? Can you see it? Can you read it? You can? Tell me if you can read it. You can read it. Okay, cool. All right, so what does it start with? And I'm gonna kind of show you how this is a flow. So what does this say? This is local market, community-based marketing, 8-week hustle. So here's what I've done. And I thought about this myself, because here's the thing. We sometimes we try to commit to something, and the problem is we get overwhelmed because we try to take on too much right out of the gate, and it's never sustainable. It's never scalable. It never gives us an opportunity to build up in. Here's the same thing you're trying to do to build your business, or even worse, you do some stuff, you lack consistency, you let it fall off, and then you try to ramp it back up again, right? There's no consistency. It's, hey, let's do something, ride it for a while, let it die again, and let me try to jump back in and build it up again. It allows for no consistent effort, right? You want to build something consistently and layer it ongoing, week by week, month by month, year by year. So here's the thing. You have to commit to some sort of a foundation. You have to commit to some, your body has a foundation, right? Your skeletal system, your spinal cord, you have a foundation. And that's what we want to build. We want to put a foundation into your local market. So here's the cool thing. I have personally arranged this. You don't have to do this, but I had to arrange this so it makes sense to me so that I can personally apply this into my own market. And I'm going to continue to prove concept based on what I'm going to show you right now. So number one is this, and this one was important for me. Now you say self. Bryon, is that what was really meant as a local environment? Is that really, are you describing right now what it was really meant to be? Well, here's what I know. Self, we should constantly be working on ourselves. It's part of our daily method of operation, right? And what's cool is this just feeds into your local market, while many of you, I know you guys, some of you are running a training system Monday through Saturday, tapping into the corporate opportunities, which your global market has the ability to tap into your whether you're doing a training call maybe on Monday. I know some of you are doing one Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, and then tapping into Saturday and Monday night and what have you. Fantastic. Once again, the ability for your whole global market to come in and do that, to take advantage of the resources and the tools and the social media platforms that we have. Fantastic. Awesome. But you want to make sure ultimately, if you can get your global market that's plugging into all that to grow locally, you're literally going to be able to double down on your results. So number one is self. Now here's myself in this instance. Many of you are just like me, and I know you can't deny it. And that is you can't just do something. You have to get ready to get ready, right? You got to get ready to get ready. And here's what I mean by that. I literally the thought crossed my mind is, Bryon, how can I do more exercise in the morning and do whatever? I'm like, you know what? The gym is only a couple miles down the road. I'm going to run to the gym in the morning. Now, let me be honest with you. I thought about running to the gym in the morning for about 3 weeks. I thought about it. Then I said, you know what? I'm going to do this. I'm going to freaking commit to this. But I literally made my commitment like 2 weeks out from then, because it gave me an opportunity to commit to me thinking about it for another 2 weeks. I'm not going to lie. I'm just being very transparent here. And it's like some of us, because if I gave you an action step, many of you would hesitate. You're like, oh, no, I got to be ready for it. I got to be, especially you green personalities. No, everything, the lines have to be in place. Everything has to be perfect, and then I can do it, right? So we're going to bake that in to your 8-week community-based marketing local market schedule. Self. So here's what this is. This is a week for you to get your shit together. This is a week for you to move things around your calendar, determine what night of the week or what nights of the week that you're going to commit to this, you're going to clear your calendar, that you're going to get yourself together, that you're going to get prepared, right? This is for you. This is a week for you to prepare. And what you'll notice is at the end of every 8-week cycle, it'll give you a week to yourself to analyze and figure out and take inventory of what you've accomplished, what you've created, and give you the ability to get a strong push into the next 8 weeks. So check this out. Self will immediately, right? Week one is self, which will move you into, and remember, this is a couple hours, 1 day a week. A couple hours, 1 day a week. That's it. Just a foundational commitment. That's it, right? For us, for me, it's Tuesday nights. Tuesday night is my commitment. There's a few of these that'll slide to a weekend because of the nature of the actual environment. But for the most part, a majority of these will take place on Tuesday night. Why? Because Tuesday night's the night, Wednesday night's the date night, Thursday nights is something else, Friday night's like the hang out with friends, right? So point is, you got to figure out what's the best for you and how it works. So self will lead to mastermind. Now here's what's cool. What is the definition of a mastermind? The definition of a mastermind is this. It's not a huddle. Many of you, I know you're all used to huddle. Huddles typically is a talking head, or some of you will have huddles where you're debriefing and you're whatever, and everyone will get a chance to share. The point in this instance of a mastermind is everyone. This is someone that truly, it says, hey, I'm going to commit with you. It's essentially you enlisting, hey, who's going to absolutely plan, take responsibility, and charge these next 6 weeks with me. And literally, you're going to put your heads together, and you're going to mastermind, and you're going to support each other on that next 6-week commitment, right? You're going to figure out, what do you want these environments to look like? What do you want them to be? What do we want them to be? Who's going to be responsible for this? Who's going to be in charge of this? Who are we going to do this, right? It's literally a mastermind. A mastermind should be very structured. It should literally last typically no more than an hour. It should be very structured with the outcome that you're trying to accomplish. And everyone that's present should be ready to provide equal feedback, and everyone wants to participate equally, right? Super important. That's what a mastermind is. And a mastermind is ultimately what is going to set up the remainder or the charge of the next 6 weeks, right? So that's what a mastermind is. Now, you're going to go from a mastermind into a social. And here's the reason. There's a reason for all of this in terms of their order. Here's what's so cool about a social. Because number one, it allows you to move into the first step of action and get you in an environment to be able to meet people, to grow your network. But here's what's so cool. It doesn't take a lot of planning. And here's where you guys, I want you to start participating. What are some great ideas, or what are some things you've done for socials, right? So I'm going to give you a couple examples here real quick. An easy thing to do for a social is find a really cool bar or lounge that's having a happy hour, and you literally just invite some people, some friends, some people out to happy hour for a drink or appetizers or whatever, right? Tony Cohen's doing one tonight. He's doing a keto wine, like a keto wine and cheese mixer, right? Mixed social. It's social. The point is that you're not preparing product. You're not preparing all this. You can literally just pick a location, say, hey, we're all going to meet at this lounge at 5 p.m. We're going to be there from 5 to 7. Looking forward to meeting and hanging out. You're literally, it's some of you, you're so, we put so much pressure on ourselves, right? Where this is just a very passive, non-aggressive way to meet more people. Literally I think some of the most powerful connections I've made that have turned into business have happened in more of a social environment. So social's easy. And what's cool is it allows you to get started with some momentum, because you don't have to plan anything. You don't have to structure anything. You can just pick a location, make a time, say, hey, we're all going to meet here. And bam, what's the goal? The goal is to invite some friends. The goal is to invite some family. The goal is to invite some people. And here's what's so cool. How do you leverage a social? For those of you that are in the mastermind and you know what you're trying to accomplish, it's simple, right? You're not trying to put business or product on anybody's face, but many of you just live your business life. Some of you are going to be already wearing some swag, some Pruvit swag. Some of you are going to be coming into the thing, drinking your ketones or whatever. Conversations have the ability to organically get started, number one. Number two is, if I'm going to a social with Josh Nelson, here's what I already know. Because Josh is my business partner, I'm going to introduce as many people to Josh as possible. And here's the reason: because Josh is going to talk good about me. Josh is going to talk good about the business, or he's going to maybe throw some little, if you ever read or ever listened to Gary Vee's jab, jab, right hook, like this is it. This is a jab. We want to jab. We want to give a little jab. And I'm going to show you, because this entire thing is set up as a jab, jab, right hook. So, Josh knows what I'm trying to accomplish. And how does he do that? He's going to assist me in doing that. So that's the thing. You want people to meet people. You want people to see, oh, these are cool people. These are people like me. These are people that I'd like to hang out with, so on and so forth. So it's a social. It's easy to do. You commit to it. For me, probably the first one we're going to pick down here, even at your house, you could have a keto wine and cheese party. So for any of you, just kind of feel free to throw in some, some ideas of what you do and what you're doing as a social. I don't know who this is. Okay, Kendra, kickboxing in Michigan. I'll show you, Kendra, how I think actually that fits into a different category. But anyways, it's still, either way, social, anything, it could, it doesn't have to be super strict in terms of what it is. So, boom, social to personal meetup one-on-one. This is one thing that, especially for many of you that have achievers in your marketplace, you have circle of champions, you have individuals that have proven a specific level of success, right? Like you have someone come to meet them and they got their Pruvit car parked in the garage, or they're bringing it to the coffee shop where you're meeting or whatever. Here's what a personal meetup is: a one-on-one, or even more effective, a two-on-one, right? You and your coach, you and another person you're working with. That way, the two of you, just like a three-way call, can influence that person. But that's one thing that I will tell you is I still think to this day is one of the most effective environments that you'll find yourself in, because there's so much more that you can truly get past surface level conversation into some depth. But I want you to think about this, because this is something that's important along the way. This is really networking 101, especially in our industry. You always book a meeting from a meeting. You always book a meeting from a meeting. And in this instance, this is the first environment, which is a social. So you invite somebody and you connect somebody at a social. Hey, you know what? We should meet up. You should come over to the house next week. Hey, you know what? You should come over to the house next week with Josh, man. Would love to hang out with you. Would love to catch up with you. Would love to, or hey, let's meet up next week. Let's go grab a cup of coffee, or let's go grab a dinner, or whatever. You're booking that. You just met them at the social, and now you're inviting them to meet up with you one-on-one or one-on-two, right? In a personal meetup environment the following week. So remember, always book a meeting from a meeting. And that's why in your mastermind, here's what's super, super important. In your mastermind, you don't necessarily have to book the remaining 6 weeks, but you better have at least 2 of them booked at a time, because you want the people from this meeting to be inviting people to the next meeting. You want to be inviting people to the next environment, an environment to an environment, an environment to an environment. So social to a personal meetup to a mixer, right? You're at the personal meetup, you're connecting one-on-one, you're digging in, you're answering questions, you're getting to connect. Hey, you know what? We're actually having a mixer at Josh's house next week, or we're having a mixer next week, right? You should come, right? You should come. Right? You've met them at the social, you've connected with them on a one-on-one or a one-on-two, and now you've invited them from there to come to the mixer, right? And we all know what a mixer is. A mixer, a splash party, or whatever the hell party you want to have. Point is that it's very intentional. It's for people to come in, to try the product, to learn a little bit about the product, to connect with some other people that are using and experiencing the product, to get a chance to see other people that are having great results with the product, right? You have a mixer, right? And a mixer, I know a lot of you are experts at throwing mixers. I've been to some of your mixers that are blown out. I'm talking they are first class, kick-ass, awesome mixers, right? It's up to you, but ultimately, mixer's a mixer. So get in the mixer. Now, you go from a mixer, and you're at the mixer and the figure, to fun. This is where I would go back to what Kendra said, which is kickboxing. It could be kickboxing. It could be rock climbing. It could be go-karting. It could be flag football on the beach. It could be doing a hike on a Saturday up through the canyon here. It could be laser tag. It could be whatever. It's just fun. You get all of these people that you've been connecting with, right? And it's one time of the week where you get to go out and you have fun. Hey, what are we doing tonight? I'm going to go build my business. What are you going to do? And here's what's so cool. You're going to go play laser tag or do whatever, and it's business. It's all business. It's all right up. You're going to get paid, or the government's going to let you keep your hard-earned money to play laser tag, or to go go-karting, or to go rock climbing, or to do what the hell ever, right? Plus, you're putting the community in another opportunity to potentially meet more people, right? Super, super important, especially when you travel, right, with an entourage. When you travel with a crew, you usually make a little bit bigger of a wave, a little bit bigger of a ripple, of an impression. So you've invited them to mix. Now you're inviting them from the mixer to the fun activity, whatever the fun activity is, right? And then we're going to go to a workshop, a better life workshop. This is something that's structured. And here's what's cool. You're working hard, right, to get yourself to the point where the workshop is straight up to the point, right? It is something that is much more structured. It is something that is much more planned. It is something that it's a little bit more formal, right? And typically for me, if you've ever been in it, I always do I want to be able to fulfill both of my outcomes, which is, hey, customers, promoters, customers, promoters, customers, promoters. So at my Better Life workshop, I'm going to do kind of like a ketones 101, and then I'm going to do like a business 101, right? So I can't see it. Can you move? Yeah, sorry, Dr. Heather, my bad. Don't yell at me. Don't yell at me. To a workshop, right? To a workshop, which is structured, it's great environment, what have you. And anyways, I'll get back to that in a second. You go from the workshop and you invite everybody from the workshop to your local awareness, right? So cool that we're going to cap off our 8 weeks with community outreach. So you're out there, you were talking to them at the workshop, they're super excited about the product, or they've just, decided to stay and learn more about being a promoter in the community and what have you. And in this case, you're gonna say, hey, you know what? Next week, we're gonna feed the homeless. We're gonna go clean up the beach. We're going to work at the, we're gonna go do a Special Olympics volunteer work, or we're gonna do, my goodness, how many things in your local community could you do to, number one, give back to your community, create local awareness around this incredible community of people that are literally helping other people accomplish better, right? So, and here's what's so awesome. I looked at this and I'm like, holy shit, I'm excited for the next 8 weeks. Like I'm super excited about this. Sometimes when you do the same thing over and over again, you get a little, squirrely, and that's okay. I think that happens to all of us, but here's what I want to show you. And sorry, I'm running over time a little bit. Is it okay? Is everybody okay if I just take a couple more minutes? Okay, cool. So here's what's awesome. This now cycles back around. There's a reason why you see this line here. There's a reason why this line here. The line here is it's creating a break in between what we're trying to now accomplish. Why? Because now week 8 rolls around and this becomes week 9. It becomes the refreshing of a new 8-week cycle, right? And at this next 8-week cycle, it's taking a week to myself. What have I accomplished? Meanwhile, I'm still plugging into the global system. I'm still plugging in to the calls. I'm still plugging into everything I'm plugging into. I'm just reinforcing it and creating and establishing new business locally on top of doing that as well. So back after local awareness, you go back, you take inventory of what you've accomplished, you take an inventory of where everybody's at, gives you the ability to follow up and do all the things you want to do, and then prepare for the next week where you're going to go in and do a mastermind, and the whole group's going to get together and say, okay, this was really successful. What could we do better? What's some new events? What's some new locations? What's some new stuff? And as you start building this, check this out. You may go back to self. You may get to the mastermind standpoint and you say, you know what? This is just getting too big. It's getting too big and it's no longer as personal as it was. Why? Because we have a social and freaking 50 people show up, right? We have a whatever and all these people show up. And that way it takes away from the intimate, setting for you to be, I believe, as accomplished as you can be. If any of you have gone to, if you've ever gone to a big church, or it doesn't even have to be a big church, but most big churches, right, they are comprised of a whole bunch of small groups, right? One person that says, I want to step up and I want to lead a group of 10 people. And then all of a sudden that small group really gets pumping and they're inviting more people, they're creating more impact, more people, and somebody says, you know what, I want to step up. Now we're getting to 19 people. It's only supposed to be 10. Now we're getting to 19 people in a small group. Now we need to start a new small group. Okay, you want to go start one? Fantastic. Now check this out. Now the goal is to imagine having 2 separate lines. Now you've started a whole nother organization because someone stepped up, started kicking butt, and now you're parallel running with another. Because remember, this is my commitment. This is my 8-week commitment. Nobody else's. Nobody else's. I'm C1. If you want to come along with me over these next 8 weeks, shut up and let's freaking go. Shut up and watch. C1, shut up and watch, right? And then you may get to a point now where the next you're starting to collaborate more. And then you get to the point where you now become C3. When it's C3, they're now starting to do their own. And you're over here still committed to your own. And here's what's so cool. Now you meet up at the workshop. Now these small local entities, small environments are now coming back together on week 7 for a great big workshop. And by this time you're running in 8-week cycles, guess what? You're pumping up your local market. You're getting to the point now where, oh my gosh, now we're getting everyone into the next, hey, what's the next thing we got? It's epic. Now we're going into epic. Or if there's too big of a break and you're getting so much momentum in your group, you tell your rank 7 and above or your rank 8 and above, hey, stuff is cranking in my local market. There's not a big major event again for another 3 months. Hey, let's do a surge event, or let's do a bigger event, or let's do something. Now you have the ability to do that, right? So, and you can now get back together again and make a big impact in your local market. Why? Because, now you have all these small things that are getting back together in 2 environments. One is a workshop. You want to talk about a workshop where people just walk in the door and they're like, I'm getting started. This is freaking nuts. There's so much energy. It's like when you go to a major event. You're like, oh my gosh, in my hometown, there's just a couple of me, right? It's just a couple people. And you never see that type, you'll never have that type of impact made on you on Facebook as you do when you walk into a major event, see all the people, feel all the synergy, and you're now like, wow, this thing's a lot bigger than I thought. So it's the same type of environment that you're trying to create or that you're going to create here. And then once again, it rolls back around. And once again, you're going through the C1, C2, C3 type of scenario just in your local market using the 8 community-based marketing environments in order to do so. Here's what I promise you. If you do this, along with your already global application into Pruvit calls, into your team's calls and trainings and Keto 101s and success profiles and those things, and now you get all of your global markets to commit to local market, you guys will grow 10x. You'll grow 10x. Now, here's what I'm going to leave you with. And I'm sorry, because I've already gone 8 minutes over. Here's what I'm going to leave you with, okay? This is a story. This is in the book Bounce if you haven't read it yet or if you haven't got it yet. This is a specific story that talks about, it's relating to golf, but it talks more specifically about the impact that this one young lady made. She was one of the first LPGA players in Korea, and she became an LPGA spokeswoman. And ultimately, here's what happened, right? She created such an impact that more and more women wanted to get into the sport. They wanted to play. They wanted to compete at a high level. But here's what's incredibly key, and here's what I want to read to you. So just give me a second, and this is it. This is what I'm going to close with. So note, all right? It says, okay, now consider something else, the dates, the time frame. Look at the pattern. Can you see something? Okay. Note that in each case, the bloom grew relatively slow at first, requiring 5 or 6 years to reach a dozen players. So it took 5 or 6 years to create this impact to just reach 5 or 6 players. This is not because the inspiration was weaker at the start and then got progressively stronger, but for a more fundamental reason. Deep practice takes time. 10,000 hours, as the saying goes. Talent is spreading through this group in the same pattern that dandelions spread through suburban yards. One puff, given time, brings many flowers. Right? If we widen the perspective, we will see this pattern, a powerful motivational spark, followed by a decade or so later by the flowering of success. Now, is it going to take you a decade to succeed here? No, it's not. Okay, but what I will tell you ultimately is this. You cannot run an 8-week cycle and analyze and assess your results whether I'm going to go another 8 weeks. If you're going to do that, just don't do it at all. Just don't do it at all, right? I want you to think about this. What are your alternatives? Because I've done it. I've been in the military. I've worked in corporate America. I've started my own business. I've done all of those things. Here's what I will tell you. All of those other things that you would do outside of this require the next 60 freaking years of your life. They require a very long-term commitment, right? So stop shortcutting your business on your time and your commitment and just commit to one small step a week, one small commitment a week. Well, that will reinforce your global commitment of however you're plugging into whoever you're plugging in and whatever you're doing, right? It takes time. It takes time. it takes time to build. People say, oh, Bryon, you had your success. It's taken me 14 years to have overnight success. 14 years. If I would have tried to, get you on my, if I was here giving you a training 10 years ago, you'd have been like, who is this idiot? You would have got off this Zoom in the first 60 seconds of me on there. I would have said the first sentence, you'd be like, this guy's an idiot. I can do this. I don't need to watch any of this crap. Right? Literally, that's probably how bad I was. Point is it took time to develop. It takes time for you to gain an awareness around what you're doing, how to do it effectively. But many of you, if you put this into play, you will create a movement, you will create momentum, and you will double down on your results. So hopefully that helps. Y'all are awesome. And I will see you on next week's call.